Welcome to Off Duty. I'm Kelsey Hubbard with a look at what's new from WSJ Video. Well, there's nothing more dramatic than a smoky eye. As Elizabeth Holmes learned, you can kick it up a notch by adding a metallic element. Take a look at the latest installment of this.
Hi there, I'm Elizabeth Holmes of the Wall Street Journal, and this is how you get a metallic smoky eye. There is nothing more dramatic than a smoky eye, and we're going to turn it up even one notch more and add a metallic element. It is a Saturday night out on the town staple, and to show us how, we've come to the Mac Pro store here in New York City, and I'm turning to my good friend Gina Vitelli. So this is slightly intimidating to me. I'm not a heavy eye makeup girl, so where do we start?
You know, with smoky eyes, people always think of it as being black and matte and heavy and dark. We're gonna do it softer and we're gonna add that metallic edge.
Excellent.
So the first thing I did was I added a little bit of a translucent powder all over the eyelid.
We should say that you've prepped my face beautifully already, too.
Yeah, I did want the skin a bit more matte for this one because we're going more metallic with the eyes. I thought it would be a nice contrast if the skin is more matte. And then we're just gonna jump right in there into the eyes. The key product for this look is a black eye pencil. So at MAC we make Smolder. It's an eye kohl pencil. And the nice thing about this pencil is it glides on so easily. I'm barely using any pressure and I'm able to get a really nice application on the inner part of your eye. And now that I've applied a nice generous amount underneath the eye, I'm gonna have you go ahead and squeeze your eye closed.
Okay.
Yep. And what that's doing is it's transferring that eyeliner from the bottom of the waterline to the top of the waterline. So now your
oh my gosh,
eye is saturated and it's like so much easier. So look up again.
That is a really good tip.
And I'm just gonna go a step further and wrap this eye pencil a bit into the lash line. I always like to use the lower lashes as a guideline for how far you're gonna go with your smoky color. So for you, you can actually go quite generously because your lashes are so Now close. I'm gonna repeat what I did underneath the eye right on top. So I'm just using the pencil on its side. I'm using your eye shape as my guideline. And I'm doing kind of a messy, almost kindergartner application of eyeliner here.
I love that.
It's a bit of a messy application now, but I'm gonna blend that out.
Okay.
So to blend it out, I'm gonna use a fluffy brush. And because this pencil is so smooth and creamy, it will easily navigate wherever you need it. And then again, I'll just repeat what I did on top. So the best way to apply a smoky eye is to keep the color a bit richer at the base of the lashes and then gradually soften as you are moving up the eye. Okay, go ahead and open. All right, so we have the start of a classic smoky eye. I'm going to add a nice neutral. This is a brown eyeshadow, it's called Cork.
Okay.
And what I like about this is it's just a little bit darker than your skin tone. So it's the perfect bridge when you're using something like black. It connects that black eye pencil to your skin tone. So I'm using it where the black eye pencil intersects with your skin. And it just kind of creates a bit more of a seamless effect. It looks a little bit more blended. And overall, it makes the smoky eye a bit softer.
And what does a fluffy brush do? It helps blend it more?
It does.
Okay.
The softer the brush, the softer the look.
Okay.
And I'm keeping the color a bit more intense on the outer corner in the crease. So it just gives the eye a nice lift. And this guy I'm also gonna do underneath. I chose a color for you that I thought would be really great. I love it with blue eyes. It's a violet.
Okay.
It's called Rich Core, and it's a new formula of eyeshadow with MAC, Extra Dimension. Again, it's that hybrid of liquid and powder.
Okay.
It's a really beautiful metallic pearlized finish on it. And I'm going to use the same brush that I used previously with the eye pencil. And I'm gonna put this purple exactly where I went with that Smolder eye pencil. So I can just use the precision of the brush right against the eyelid. And then because I already put that brown shadow in the crease, it's giving me a nice stopping point.
Oh, so you
for
put
the
it,
purple.
okay.
Yeah, I just stay
that?
exactly below it.
Feels like you're kind of covering my lid with this.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm targeting exactly where I went with that eye pencil. So right on the eyelid and then just connecting it right to that Cork eyeshadow. We'll do the same underneath. For this part, you really want to make sure to navigate underneath the lashes. And again, I'm just following exactly where I went with that eye pencil. Okay, so one more piece to the metallic eye that I think is so important is having that little bit of a highlight.
Okay.
Because everything about this is very smoky and smoldering and, you know, all of that. We want to give just a little bit of lightness. So I'm adding a silver eyeshadow. This is called Warm Thunder. It's also one of the extra dimension formulas. And I'm using a smaller brush. This is the 219. It's a pencil brush. And you can see it's a really beautiful silver metallic. And I'm going to just highlight the inner corner of the eye. And what this does is it just adds that little bit of brightness, so there is a bit of lightness. So your eyes don't feel so closed in. And again, this is a really nice way to accessorize. And I'm just tracing that inner corner of your eye. This pencil brush just allows me to get in those corners without having to work very hard. Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
You totally look like a different person.
I know, I feel like a different person.
So the last part of a smoky eye is more mascara.
Okay.
I think this is a really important step to do after you apply the eyeshadows, because sometimes the eyeshadows will fall and stick to lashes.
Oh, okay.
So just to make sure you're getting a nice, really polished looking smoky eye, just always do a coat at the end. Wow, this looks amazing.
Oh my gosh.
So you can see the balance of the metallic on the eyes and the matte on the skin is a really nice compromise.
Yes.
I think you got it, sister.
I think we need to go out on the town.
I know.
We've given you a sneak peek at Lee Hawkins' interview with NFL legend John Elway. Here's more from that interview about how Elway turned his successful NFL career into a long-lasting brand for himself.
I want to welcome John Elway, who is the legendary quarterback, of course. He's also a Denver Bronco executive. He has been very successful in business, and you're going to talk to me today about the business of being John Elway and also a new business venture that you're doing right now.
Well, I've been hired to be an ambassador to Neptune Technologies and Bioresources, which produce, Neptune krill oil, and it's just an omega-3, and the things that I started off taking fish oils probably a year ago, and it's funny that my son kind of brought up the fact, have you ever heard of krill oil? And that was kind of the.
Son?
He's 21 years old, and so he takes the omega-3s and takes krill oil, and he was the first one to introduce me to it or tell me about it, and then was fortunate to create a relationship with Neptune, and now we're, I'm part of their team to get krill oil out there, Neptune krill oil and KO, and get the message out to people of the benefits of the omega-3s, which there's so much on the future, and there's so many tests going on right now that it's amazing some of the positive results that are coming back from the tests running on the omega-3s and what they can do.
And this is really memory and brain function, right?
That and cardiovascular also, and also there's anti-inflammatories, which as the next 16-year-old player in the NFL, inflammation is a problem with me at times, and NKO has proven to me to be very beneficial.
And when you look at your past, between now and your post-career, what are some of the other businesses that you've done that have been successful?
Well, I've been in the car business. I got in the car business when I was still playing, and then I ended up selling to AutoNation back in 1998, but then have since got back into the car business. And so I'm involved in the car business. I have a couple 3 dealerships in California and 2 in Colorado, and then I'm also in the restaurant business. I have 3 restaurants, and 2 in the Denver area, and then one up in Vail, Colorado. And so I have plenty of things going to keep me busy, but also very fortunate to have great partners and great people that make it work day in and day out.
So many unique things about you. You were a successful quarterback, and now you're working in the front office. You probably know the most about managing the transition from the playing to the retirement. What did you know that a lot of the other players don't know? Because a lot of them have not done as well as you have with their brand.
I'm not sure that anybody knows. I think every player probably goes through the same thing. It's just a matter of how you deal with it. And I thought that, and for me, when I got done playing football, I knew I was 38 years old when I retired from football. I knew when I got into football that at some point in time my football days were going to be over. And so it was always a goal of mine to be successful at something else outside of football when I did retire. And so that's why I delved into the car business while I was still playing, to try to prepare myself for my post-retirement years and to be able to learn the business. And so it's always been in the back of my mind knowing that football was always going to be a short term, as far as hopefully my lifespan. It was going to be a small piece of my life, and wanted to be successful in other areas when I got done.
And you must just consistently be drilling this into the heads of a lot of the young people you work with, that you're not always going to be able to play football. What are you doing to prepare yourself?
And I think that's always the emphasis, and I think the NFL does a tremendous job of trying to teach the young kids coming into the league and how to handle their money and how to prepare for their post-football careers. And that's just something that continues. The NFL continues to work on year in and year out, and I think the knowledge out there, especially with the kids coming in, even though you still hear about a lot of horror stories out there, I think the knowledge by the kids coming in, at least the basis is a lot there more than it's ever been. We try to help them with the transition and try to help them when they come out of college, not only the transition to the NFL, but also the transition within the community, how to set up bank accounts and all those type things that with our player development, we have tried to set that and acclimate these players within the community, and I think we're seeing some benefit from it.
You're seeing some benefit from it. Are you now, as you move forward with the Broncos organization, what is your forecast for next year?
We take it 1 year at a time. Obviously, when you get a guy like Peyton, he gives you an opportunity to compete for a world championship, and that's really why that's why I'm in this business. Is I want an opportunity to compete for a world championship and be very successful on the football side, and have also our owner Pat Bowlen be successful on the business side.
And of course, you're going to be working closely with this kid. You're not the quarterback's coach, but he'll be coming to you for advice.
Well, and every little bit that I can help out with, I'm thrilled to do with, and the experience that I've gained to be able to help Peyton or all the other quarterbacks that we have for that fact, I would love to be able to try to help them out.
What's the dynamic between you and Archie?
I actually met Archie when I was first coming out of school in 1983, and I had a chance to meet Archie. And actually, I was a fan of Archie's when he played in the NFL and when he played at Ole Miss, and so we've had a good relationship. And I haven't had a chance to spend a lot of time around Archie, but I can see how Eli and Peyton turned out the way they turned out because of the way Archie handles himself and the way he goes about his business.
Yeah, well, what are the odds that that would happen? I mean, there's got to be some insight that you two guys have that you could share with the world about being the best quarterback.
Well, I think that there's, obviously Peyton had Archie and that background, and Peyton has Eli, and Eli has Peyton, and Eli has. So I'm sure that they share stories all the time, and what I can do to help Peyton share stories when he has questions. And he's a guy that is very interested in learning everything. He's a very detailed guy and works tremendously hard. And so I hope that there's some things that I can give to Peyton that will make him a better player.
And finally, WSJ wine columnist Lettie Teague is back to talk about Sauvignon Blanc, one of the world's great grapes.
Hi, I'm Lettie Teague. I'm the wine columnist of the Wall Street Journal. Welcome to Wine Dictionary. Today I'm going to be talking about Sauvignon Blanc, one of the great grapes of the world. Well, Sauvignon Blanc is a grape that originated in France, indigenous to the Loire Valley. The Loire Valley is about 2 hours south of Paris, and it's home to some of the greatest Sauvignon Blancs, not only in France, but in the world. But of course, there are many places all over the world where Sauvignon Blanc is grown, probably most famously to a lot of people in New Zealand, but also California, Australia, Spain, Italy. It's pretty much, you name the country, Sauvignon Blanc is grown there at this point. Probably what is most distinctive about Sauvignon Blanc is its aroma. It's marked by citrus notes of lime and of lemon. Also herbal notes are described often as grassy. And then of course there's the ubiquitous cat's pee nose, which is probably the most extreme example of those herbal aromas. Sauvignon Blanc isn't just aromatically distinctive, it's also notable for its very bright acidity. It's to some people it's sort of the anti-Chardonnay. It's a wine that's very light, very bright, has a great natural acidity, and at its best is quite vibrant. It's not often oaked, although there are, of course, oaked examples. So in that way, it tends to be just a bit lighter and less sort of ponderous, if you will, than Chardonnay. One of the reasons that Sauvignon Blanc is particularly popular is that there are a lot of really attractive examples at very good price points. You can get a good Sauvignon Blanc for $15. So Babbage is a good example of a well-priced New Zealand Sauvignon. It's from Marlborough, which is where all the famous New Zealand Sauvignons come from. It's a very solid wine. It's very bright, very clean. It has the trademark acidity of a good Sauvignon. Yeah, at $15, it's one of the better values. The Babbage is at 2011, and that's the other crucial point, is that the fresher, the younger, the better. Certainly from New Zealand, I would go for the 2011, which is the current vintage on the market. Of course, there's not just inexpensive Sauvignon Blanc in the world, there's some pretty complex Sauvignon made in places not only France, but also California. And one of my favorites is actually from the Russian rivers, the Rocchioli family. They've been growers for years, but they've been bottling their Sauvignon for a few decades as well. And it's a very full-bodied, rich, rather intense wine that can actually take a couple of years bottle age. It's not inexpensive, it's about $45 a bottle, but it's certainly one of the best Sauvignon Blancs, I think, from California. So the best food pairings with Sauvignon are what you might imagine would go with a crisp, dry, bright white wine, which is essentially to say fish. Lighter on the lighter side, oysters are terrific. Shellfish in general are great. Sauvignon Blanc is a great aperitif. It's bright and fresh and lively, and because it has such great acidity, it really whets your palate. You know, so it's a great palate stimulant.
That's it for Off Duty. I'm Kelsey Hubbard. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click above to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos on YouTube and WSJ.com.